The alarm bells rang through the United Defense Command building at 3 in the morning. Officers rushed from their beds and ran to the control room. Something big was happening. The night shift workers stared at their screens with wide eyes and open mouths. Commander Lisa Hayes arrived within minutes. She was a tall woman with short black hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. She had been in the military for 15 years and had seen many strange things, but nothing like this. "What do we have?" she asked the young officer at the main console. "Ma'am, we're receiving a signal from deep space. It's using the Universal Peace Code. Someone is asking for help. It's Make 5. Lisa moved closer to the screen. The signal was strong and clear. It came from somewhere near the Arcturus sector, far beyond Earth's normal patrol range. The translation program worked quickly, turning alien sounds into English words. "This is Queen Zalara of the Valthene Empire. My ship is damaged. My guards are dead or dying. The Krell Syndicate attacked us during our diplomatic mission. They want to capture me. I am sending this message to all friendly worlds. Please help me. My life support will fail in 2 days. The Krell will reach me before then." The room went silent. Everyone knew about the Valthene Empire. They were one of the most powerful alien civilizations in the galaxy. They had made contact with Earth 10 years ago. The relationship was peaceful but distant. The Valthene were advanced and strong. They didn't need help from anyone, especially not from humans. "Why is she calling us?" someone asked. Lisa didn't answer. She was already thinking about what this meant. If the Valthene Queen was in danger, it was serious. The Krell Syndicate was a group of pirates and killers. They worked for whoever paid them the most. If they captured the Queen, they could control the entire Valthene Empire. That would be bad for everyone, including Earth. Admiral Kyle Morrison arrived soon after. He was an older man with gray hair and a stern face. He had fought in the wars that united Earth under one military command. He understood strategy better than anyone. "Play the message again," he ordered. They listened to Queen Zalara's voice 3 more times. There was fear in her tone, but also dignity. She was not begging. She was asking for help as one leader to another. "We need to discuss this," Morrison said. "Get me all the senior officers. Now." Within an hour, the war room was full. Generals, admirals, and commanders sat around the large table. A hologram showed the Arcturus sector and the Queen's last known position. Red markers indicated where Krell ships had been spotted. "Can we even reach her in time?" General Harris asked. He was in charge of the space fleet. "Yes," Lisa said. She had already done the math. "If we send our fastest ship with a small team, we can get there in 30 hours. That gives us 18 hours to find her, fight the Krell, and get out." "That's not much time," someone muttered. "It's enough," Lisa replied. "But we need to move now. Every minute we wait, the Krell get closer to her." Admiral Morrison stood up. He looked at each person in the room. "I know what you're all thinking. Why should we risk our people for an alien queen? Let me tell you why. The Valthene have power and knowledge beyond anything we have. If we save their queen, we make them our allies. Real allies. The kind who will stand with us when trouble comes. And trouble is coming," Lisa added. "The Krell have been watching our outer colonies. If they take control of the Valthene Empire, Earth will be their next target. We can stop them now, or fight them later when they're stronger." General Harris nodded slowly. "She's right. This is strategic. We show the galaxy that Earth keeps its word, that we help those who need it. That makes us someone worth respecting. Or it makes us look weak," another officer argued. "Running to save someone who should be able to save themselves." Morrison slammed his hand on the table. "The Queen's guards are dead. Her ship is broken. She fought until she had nothing left. There's no shame in needing help after that. There's only shame in refusing to give it." The room fell quiet. Everyone knew Morrison was right. This wasn't about looking strong or weak. It was about doing what was right. It was about showing the galaxy who humans really were. "All in favor of the rescue mission?" Morrison asked. Every hand went up. "Good, Commander Hayes. You're in charge of this operation. Pick your best people. Take the USS Resolute. It's fast and well-armed. You'll need both. Lisa felt her heart beat faster. This was it. The biggest mission of her life. Yes, sir. I'll need fighter pilots, combat specialists, medical staff, and technical experts. This won't be easy. Nothing worth doing ever is, Morrison said. You have 4 hours to assemble your team and launch. The Queen is counting on us. Don't let her down. Lisa saluted and left the room. Her mind was already working through the list of people she needed. The best of the best. The ones who could handle anything. The ones who never quit, no matter how bad things got. She walked through the base, pulling up files on her datapad. Fighter pilots, soldiers, doctors, engineers. Earth had plenty of brave people. But she needed more than brave. She needed smart, skilled, and lucky. She needed people who could think fast and shoot straight. People who would follow her into hell if she asked. By the time the sun rose, she had her list. 6 names. 6 people who would either save Queen Zalara or die trying. She sent out the calls, marking each message as urgent and classified. The responses came back within minutes. Every single one said yes. Lisa allowed herself a small smile. This was why she loved the military. When humanity needed heroes, they always stepped forward. No hesitation. No complaints, just a simple yes and the courage to back it up. She looked up at the sky, where stars were fading in the morning light. Somewhere out there, an alien queen was waiting, hoping, praying that help would come in time. Help was coming. Earth's finest were coming. And the Krell Syndicate was about to learn that humans were not to be underestimated. Captain Jake Morrison was in the middle of a training flight when the call came through. He was flying his fighter through a series of tight maneuvers, pushing the engines to their limits. The rush of speed and danger made him feel alive. It was what he lived for. Captain Morrison, return to base immediately. Priority 1. The radio crackled. Jake frowned. Priority 1 meant something serious. He turned his fighter around and headed back. Within 10 minutes, he was landing in the main hangar. Commander Hayes was waiting for him. We have a mission, she said, without greeting. Big one. Dangerous. You in? Jake didn't even ask what it was. Always, Lisa smiled. That was exactly the answer she expected. Jake had flown over 200 combat missions. He had never lost a single member of his squadron. His flying skills were legendary. More importantly, he was fearless. Not stupid fearless, but the kind of fearless that came from absolute confidence in his abilities. Good. Briefing in 2 hours. Bring your flight suit. We leave today. Next, Lisa found Lieutenant Ryan Blake in the weapons testing facility. He was examining a new type of missile, making notes on his data pad. Ryan was different from Jake. Where Jake was all instinct and action, Ryan was calculation and planning. He could look at a battlefield and see things others missed. Weaknesses in enemy formations. Opportunities for ambush. Ways to turn a losing fight into a victory. Ryan, I need you, Lisa said. He looked up from his work. The alien queen? You heard? Everyone's heard. Word travels fast. What's the plan? Still working on it. That's why I need you. We're going to be outnumbered and outgunned. We'll need every advantage we can get. Ryan nodded slowly. I'll need full access to all intelligence on the Krell. Ship types, weapon capabilities, tactical patterns. Everything. You'll have it. Then count me in. Sergeant Megan Torres was harder to find. She wasn't in any of the usual places. Lisa finally located her in the gym, beating the hell out of a punching bag. Megan was built like a fighter, all muscle and determination. She had grown up in a rough neighborhood and joined the military to escape. She found her calling in combat. Close-range fighting, demolitions, anything that required getting your hands dirty. She was the first person to volunteer for the dangerous missions, the ones nobody else wanted. Megan, We need to talk. The sergeant threw one more punch, then turned around. Sweat dripped down her face. I'm listening. Rescue mission. Deep space. Probably going to involve boarding an enemy ship and fighting our way through. Megan's eyes lit up. When do we leave? 3 hours. I'll be ready in 30 minutes. Lisa found Dr. Ashley Bennett in the medical wing. Ashley was reviewing files on alien biology. She had treated dozens of different species during her career. Some of them had been enemies at the time, but Ashley didn't care. A patient was a patient. Life was life. She had dedicated herself to understanding alien medicine and helping anyone who needed it. Dr. Bennett, I have a patient for you. A very important one. Ashley looked up. She was a petite woman with kind eyes and steady hands. The Valthene Queen? Yes. She's injured and running out of air. Even if we reach her in time, we'll need someone who can treat her. Someone who won't panic when they see something they've never seen before. I've studied Valthene physiology, Ashley said. They're carbon-based like us. But their blood chemistry is different. They need a specific mix of gases to breathe. I'll need to bring specialized equipment. Whatever you need, you've got it. Ashley stood up. Then I'm ready. Nobody dies on my watch if I can help it. Not human. Not alien. Not anyone. Corporal Brandon Lewis was in the communications center when Lisa found him. He was surrounded by monitors and keyboards, his fingers flying across the keys. Brandon was young, barely 25, but he was a genius with computers and communication systems. He could break into almost any network, crack any code, intercept any signal. He looked like a kid, but his skills were world-class. Brandon, how would you like to hack into an alien ship? He spun around in his chair, grinning. Seriously? That would be amazing. I've been dying to see how Krell encryption works. You might get your chance. But it'll be dangerous. Real combat, not a simulation. Brandon's grin faded a little, but he nodded. I understand. I'm not a fighter, but I can help in other ways. You need someone who can open locked doors and shut down security systems. That's me. Can you handle the pressure? I guess we'll find out. But yeah, I'm in. The last person Lisa needed was Lieutenant Katie Armstrong. Katie was in the navigation room, studying star charts. She was one of the best pilots in the fleet, specializing in difficult flying conditions. Asteroid fields, gravity wells, radiation storms, the places where one wrong move meant death. She had nerves of steel and reflexes like lightning. Katie, I need someone who can fly through hell and come out the other side. Katie looked up and smiled. Sounds like my kind of flying. What's the catch? We'll be going into the Arcturus sector. Lots of debris, strange gravity, probably enemy fire. And we'll need to do it fast. Fast I can do. When do we launch? 2 hours. Perfect. I'll plot the course now. It's going to be a rough ride, but I'll get us there. Lisa gathered her team in the briefing room aboard the USS Resolute. The ship was one of Earth's finest assault carriers. Fast, well-armed, and tough. It could carry a squadron of fighters and still pack enough firepower to take on ships twice its size. The 6 team members sat around the table, looking at the holographic display of the mission area. Lisa stood at the head of the table, feeling the weight of command on her shoulders. All right, people, here's the situation. Queen Zalara of the Valthene Empire is stranded in the Arcturus sector. Her ship is disabled, her guards are dead, and she's running out of air. The Krell Syndicate is moving in to capture her. Our job is to get there first, extract the Queen, and get out alive. She zoomed in on the display, showing the Queen's ship and the surrounding area. We have 30 hours to reach her. That gives us a small window to complete the rescue before the main Krell fleet arrives. We'll be outnumbered, and we'll be deep in enemy territory. This is as dangerous as it gets. Jake leaned forward. What's our approach strategy? Ryan will coordinate our weapons and tactics. Jake, you'll lead the fighter squadron. Katie will navigate us through the sector. Megan, Ryan, Brandon, and Ashley will be the boarding team. We dock with the Queen's ship, fight our way in, grab her, and run. What if the Krell are already inside her ship? Megan asked. Then we fight them there. We do whatever it takes. The Queen cannot fall into Krell hands. The consequences would be catastrophic. Not just for the Valthene, but for Earth too. Ashley raised her hand. What condition is the Queen in? Unknown. She's injured and oxygen deprived. You'll need to stabilize her quickly. We won't have time for a thorough treatment until we're clear. Brandon looked nervous but determined. What about the ship's systems? Will I be able to interface with Valthene technology? The universal protocols should work, but be prepared for complications. Do your best. That's all any of us can do. Lisa looked at each member of her team. I won't lie to you. Some of us might not come back from this, but if we succeed, we'll have saved a life and made Earth a powerful ally. More than that, we'll have shown the galaxy what humans are capable of, that we don't abandon people in trouble, that we face impossible odds and win anyway. Jake stood up. Then let's stop talking and start flying. We've got a queen to save. The others stood as well, their faces showing determination mixed with nervousness. They knew the risks. They knew the odds. But they were going anyway, because that's what heroes did. The USS Resolute launched exactly on schedule, its engines burning bright as it climbed into space and jumped toward the stars. Inside, 6 brave humans prepared for the fight of their lives. The USS Resolute dropped out of faster-than-light travel with a flash of blue energy. One moment there was nothing but empty space. The next moment, the ship was in the Arcturus sector, surrounded by danger. Contact, Katie called out from the navigation station. 3 Krell patrol ships, bearing 270. They're moving to intercept. Lisa didn't hesitate. Jake, launch your squadron. Keep them off us. While we search for the Queen, Jake was already running toward the hangar. He and his 5 pilots scrambled into their fighters and launched within 60 seconds. The small ships shot out into space like angry hornets. Alpha Squadron, form up on me, Jake said over the radio. We've got 3 hostiles. Let's show them what Earth fighters can do. The Krell patrol ships were ugly things, covered in spikes and dark armor. They fired red plasma bolts that lit up the darkness. Jake's squadron split into pairs, weaving through the enemy fire with practiced ease. Beta pair, take the left target. Charlie pair, take the right. I've got the center, Jake ordered. His fighter danced through space, engines burning as he closed in on the lead Krell ship. The enemy tried to track him, but Jake was too fast. He rolled, dove, and came up beneath the ship's belly where its weapons couldn't reach. His missiles streaked out and slammed into the hull. The explosion was beautiful and terrible. One down, he shouted. The other 2 Krell ships tried to run, but Jake's pilots were relentless. They chased them down and destroyed them with precise shots. The whole fight lasted less than 3 minutes. Nice work, Alpha Squadron, Lisa said. Now get back here. We found the Queen's ship. Katie had located the luminary on the sensors. It was a beautiful vessel, even in its damaged state. The hull was silver and blue, with elegant curves that spoke of advanced engineering, but it was also scarred and broken, with huge holes torn in its side. She's surrounded, Ryan reported from the weapons station. 4 Krell boarding ships attached to her hull. Scanners show soldiers inside, trying to cut through to the core chamber. How long before they reach her? Lisa asked. 20 minutes. Maybe less. Lisa made her decision. We're going in. Katie, bring us alongside. We'll dock directly with the luminary. Ryan, use the weapons to clear those boarding ships. That's risky, Ryan said. If we damage the Queen's ship further, we could kill her. If we don't try, the Krell will capture her. Take the shot. Ryan's fingers flew across his controls. The Resolute's main guns opened fire, targeting the Krell boarding ships with careful precision. The first one exploded in a ball of fire. The second one broke free and tried to escape, but Ryan tracked it and destroyed it with a second shot. The remaining 2 ships detached and moved to attack the Resolute. Jake, we've got 2 hostiles breaking off, Lisa called. I see them. We're on it. Jake's squadron swooped in and engaged the boarding ships. These were tougher than the patrol ships, with heavier armor and stronger shields. But they were also slower. Jake's pilots used their speed to circle around them, hitting weak points until the ships cracked open like eggs. While the space battle raged, Katie brought the Resolute closer to the Luminary. The two ships touched with a metallic clang. Brandon worked quickly to override the airlock systems and create a seal. "We're connected," he announced. "Boarding team, you're good to go." Megan, Ryan, Brandon, and Ashley stood in the airlock wearing combat armor. Megan carried a heavy rifle and several grenades. Ryan had a tactical shotgun and a pistol. Brandon had just a small handgun, relying more on his computer skills. Ashley carried medical equipment and a light weapon for self-defense. "Remember the plan," Lisa said over the radio. "Get to the core chamber, secure the Queen, and get out. Don't be heroes. We need you all back alive." "Understood," Megan said. She was the team leader for this part of the mission. The airlock opened, revealing the interior of the Luminary. The alien ship was beautiful inside, with walls that glowed softly and floors that looked like polished stone. But it was also damaged. Sparks flew from broken panels, the lights flickered, and there were bodies. Valthene guards lay dead in the corridors, their silver blood pooling on the floor. They had fought hard, but the Krell had overwhelmed them with numbers and brutality. "Stay sharp," Megan whispered. "The Krell are still here." They moved through the ship carefully, checking each corner before advancing. The Luminary was a maze of corridors and chambers, all designed for beings much taller than humans. Everything felt oversized and alien. Brandon plugged his portable computer into a wall panel. "I'm accessing the ship's systems. The core chamber is 3 levels down. There's a direct route, but..." He paused, studying the readouts. "There are at least 15 Krell soldiers between us and the Queen. Then we go through them," Megan said simply. They reached the first group of Krell at a junction of 2 corridors. The aliens were huge creatures, standing 7 feet tall, with thick scales and powerful muscles. They carried weapons that looked like they could punch holes through steel. Megan didn't give them time to react. She fired a grenade that exploded among them, followed by a burst of gunfire. Ryan moved to the side and took down 2 more with his shotgun. The Krell roared and charged forward, but the human weapons cut them down. "Keep moving," Megan shouted. They fought their way deeper into the ship. The Krell were strong and tough, but they weren't prepared for human tactics. Megan used hit-and-run attacks. Ryan set up ambushes. They worked together like a well-oiled machine. Brandon hacked into door controls as they went, sealing paths behind them to slow down any reinforcements. Ashley stayed in the middle of the group, protected but ready to help if someone got hurt. They reached the core chamber entrance to find 5 Krell soldiers working on cutting through the heavy door. The aliens had almost broken through. Another few minutes, and they would reach the Queen. "Drop them," Megan ordered. The team opened fire. The Krell turned and fired back, filling the corridor with energy blasts and bullets. One shot grazed Ryan's shoulder, but he kept fighting. Megan threw her last grenade, and the explosion knocked the Krell off their feet. The humans moved in and finished them quickly. Brandon ran to the door controls. "The lock is damaged. Give me a minute." "We don't have a minute," Ryan said, looking at his scanner. "More Krell are coming. A lot more." Megan positioned herself at the corridor entrance. "Then we hold here. Brandon, work faster." The sound of running feet echoed through the ship. The Krell were coming. Megan could see their shadows moving in the flickering light. She raised her rifle and prepared to fight. "Got it," Brandon shouted. The door slid open with a hiss. Beyond the door was a large circular chamber. In the center stood a figure that could only be Queen Zalara. She was tall and graceful, with skin that glowed with a soft blue light. Her eyes were large and golden, filled with intelligence and pain. She was wounded, with silver blood staining her elegant robes. "We're here to help you," Ashley said, running forward with her medical equipment. The Queen looked at them with surprise and hope. "You came," she said in perfect English. I did not think anyone would answer my call. We answered, Megan said, firing at the Krell who were now pouring into the corridor. But we need to leave right now. Ashley worked quickly, injecting the Queen with something to stabilize her and fitting an oxygen mask over her face. Can you walk? Yes, the Queen said, though she was clearly weak. Then let's go. Ryan grabbed the Queen's arm to support her. They ran back through the corridor, fighting every step of the way. The Krell seemed endless, coming at them from every direction. Megan's rifle ran dry, so she switched to her pistol. Ryan was down to his last magazine. Brandon had never fired a gun in combat before, but he did his best. We're not going to make it, Brandon shouted. Yes, we are, Megan shouted back. She refused to believe anything else. They burst into the airlock with Krell soldiers right behind them. Megan shoved everyone through and hit the emergency close button. The door slammed shut just as enemy fire splashed against it. We're in. Get us out of here, Ryan called to Lisa. On the bridge of the Resolute, Lisa gave the order. Detach and prepare to jump. Jake, get your squadron back here. We're leaving. But then Katie's face went pale. Commander, we have a problem. Big problem. On the scanner, dozens of new contacts had appeared. Big ones. The main Krell battle fleet had arrived early, led by a massive dreadnought that made the Resolute look like a toy. They were surrounded, outnumbered 50-1, and there was nowhere to run. Ashley worked quickly in the medical bay while the ship shook from nearby explosions. Queen Zalara lay on the examination table, her blue skin pale and her breathing shallow. The oxygen mask was helping, but she was badly hurt. Hold still. Your Majesty, Ashley said gently. She scanned the Queen with medical instruments, checking for internal injuries. You've lost a lot of blood. Your lung is punctured, and you have fractures in 3 ribs. The Queen managed a weak smile. I have been in worse condition. Once, during the War of the Crystal Moon, I fought for 3 days with a broken spine. But I was younger then. Ashley prepared an injection. This will help with the pain and start healing the internal damage. Valthene biology is similar enough to ours that the medicine should work. But you'll need proper treatment when we get back to Earth. If we get back, the Queen said quietly. In the bridge, Lisa stared at the scanner display with growing dread. 50 Krell warships surrounded them in a loose sphere. The massive dreadnought at the center was the largest ship she had ever seen. Its weapons could probably destroy the Resolute with a single shot. Status report, she demanded. Katie checked her instruments. Shields at 40%. Engines are functional. But we can't outrun that many ships. Jake's squadron is back on board, but they're low on fuel and ammunition. Ryan studied the tactical display. The dreadnought is moving into position. They'll be in firing range in 5 minutes. When they open fire, our shields won't last long. Lisa felt the weight of command crushing down on her. She had led these people into a trap. They had saved the Queen, but now they were all going to die. Unless she could think of something. Anything. Options? She asked. We could surrender, someone suggested weakly. No, Lisa said firmly. The Krell don't take prisoners. They'll kill us, and take the Queen anyway. We could fight, Ryan said. Take as many of them with us as we can. Against 50 ships? We'd last 30 seconds. Jake entered the bridge, still wearing his flight suit. What if we make a run for it? Full speed, straight line. Maybe we get lucky and break through before they can coordinate their fire. Katie shook her head. I ran the numbers. We have a 2% chance of making it through. And that's being optimistic. Lisa slammed her fist on the console. There had to be a way out. There was always a way out. She just needed to find it. In the medical bay, Queen Zalara was sitting up despite Ashley's protests. I must speak with your commander. Now. You're too weak to move, Ashley argued. This is not about my body. This is about survival, mine and yours. Help me to the bridge. Ashley hesitated, then nodded. She helped the Queen stand and supported her as they walked through the ship. The queen was taller than any human, and she had to duck through doorways. Even injured and weak, she carried herself with royal dignity. When they entered the bridge, everyone turned to stare. Queen Zilara looked around at the humans who had risked their lives to save her. She saw the fear on their faces, but also determination. They had not given up yet. "Commander Hayes," the queen said, "thank you for rescuing me. I owe you my life." Lisa saluted. "Your Majesty, we're honored to help, but I'm afraid our situation is now quite bad." "I know, I can see the scanner. Warlord Kraxus has come personally. He leads the dreadnought. You know him?" "Oh yes, he has hunted me for years. He wants what I carry in my mind. Information about an ancient weapon cache left by the old ones. The weapons could destroy entire star systems. In the wrong hands, they would bring chaos to the galaxy." Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. "Why didn't you mention this before? Would you have come if you knew the true stakes? That the Krell would stop at nothing to capture me?" "Yes," Lisa said without hesitation. "We would have. That's what humans do. We help people in trouble, no matter the risk." The queen studied Lisa's face and saw the truth there. "Your species is remarkable. The Valthene have been watching humanity for longer than you know. We have seen your wars, your struggles, your achievements. We have debated whether you were ready to join the greater galactic community." "And?" Lisa asked. "This mission was a test, not of your weapons or ships, but of your character. Would you help someone in need? Even someone not of your species? Would you risk everything for what is right?" "You have answered those questions today," Brandon spoke up from his station. "With all respect, Your Majesty, we're going to fail that test if we all die in the next few minutes." The queen turned to look at the scanner. "There may be a way. Warlord Kraxus wants me alive. He needs my memories intact to find the weapon cache. If I surrender to him, he will let your ship go." "No," Lisa said immediately. "That's not happening. You cannot fight 50 ships. Then we'll die fighting. But we're not giving you up. That would make this whole mission pointless." The queen looked surprised. "You would all die rather than surrender me?" "Yes." Queen Zilara was silent for a long moment. Then she made a decision. "Very well. If you will not give up on me, I will not give up on you. There is another way. But it is dangerous. The Luminary's reactor is still active but unstable. If we overload it and time our escape perfectly, the explosion could destroy most of Kraxus's fleet." Ryan leaned forward. "How big of an explosion are we talking about?" "Large enough to crack that dreadnought in half. But someone would need to stay behind to set the overload sequence. The timing must be perfect, or the Krell will simply jump away to safety." "That's a suicide mission," Jake said. "Yes," the queen agreed. Lisa's mind raced through the implications. They could win, but at a terrible cost. Who would she ask to give their life? How could she choose? Before she could speak, Megan's voice came over the radio from below. "Commander, I volunteer. I'll stay behind and trigger the explosion." "No," Lisa said. "I'm not losing anyone. We're losing everyone if we do nothing." Megan replied. "At least this way, most of us survive. It's a good trade." Ryan spoke up. "Wait. Your Majesty, you said the timing must be perfect. How perfect?" "The overload will take 4 minutes. The Krell must be committed to their attack pattern and unable to retreat quickly. If they sense danger too soon, they will escape. So we need something to keep them distracted. Something to make them think they're winning right up until the explosion." Ryan's eyes lit up with an idea. "I think I have a plan, but we need to act fast." He quickly explained his strategy. It was insane and risky, but it might work. The team listened, their expressions changing from despair to hope. "One problem," Katie said. "Even if the explosion works, we'll be in the blast radius. I can get us into the debris field nearby, but navigating out through a nebula while the fleet explodes around us? That's impossible flying. Even for me." Queen Zalara stepped forward. Not impossible. Not if I help you. I know these stars. My people have mapped the gravitational currents and radiation patterns that your sensors cannot detect. Together, we can find a path through. Katie looked doubtful but nodded. Then let's do it. Lisa looked around at her team. They were tired, scared, and wounded. But they were also ready. Ready to do whatever it took to survive and complete their mission. All right, people, this is it. We do this together, and we all get home alive. Jake, get your squadron ready for one more fight. Megan, prepare the Luminaries reactor. Brandon, I need you to hack into the Krell communications and send false signals. Ryan, coordinate everything. Katie, plot that escape route with the Queen. We have one chance to get this right. She activated the ship-wide intercom. All hands, this is the commander. In 5 minutes, we're going to do something crazy. Something impossible. We're going to turn certain death into victory. Trust your training. Trust each other. And trust that humanity never quits. No matter the odds. She took a deep breath. Let's show these Krell what Earth is made of. The crew of the USS Resolute moved to their stations with renewed purpose. They had a plan. A crazy, impossible plan. But it was better than waiting to die. And sometimes, the impossible was just another word for what humans did best. The clock was ticking. Ryan's plan was in motion, and there was no turning back now. Megan and Brandon had gone back to the luminary through the airlock. They moved quickly through the damaged alien ship, heading for the reactor room. Bodies of Krell soldiers lay where they had fallen. Testament to the fierce fighting that had taken place. How much do you know about Valthene reactors? Brandon asked nervously. Absolutely nothing, Megan admitted. But the Queen gave me instructions. We just need to follow them exactly. They reached the reactor chamber. It was a massive room with a glowing sphere of energy floating in the center, held in place by magnetic fields. The sphere pulsed with power. Beautiful and deadly. Brandon plugged into the control console. Okay, starting the overload sequence. Once I activate this, we have 4 minutes to get back to the Resolute. Then do it, Megan said. Brandon's fingers flew across the keys. The reactor began to pulse faster, its glow intensifying. Warning alarms sounded throughout the ship. It's done. 4 minutes. Let's move. They ran back through the corridors, but they weren't alone. Krell soldiers had boarded the ship during the chaos. 3 of them blocked the path to the airlock. Megan didn't slow down. She fired her rifle as she ran, dropping the first Krell with a headshot. The second one raised its weapon, but Brandon surprised everyone by shooting it with his pistol. The third Krell lunged at them with a blade, but Megan kicked it hard, sending the aliens sprawling. They burst through the airlock just as the timer hit 3 minutes. On the bridge of the Resolute, Lisa watched the countdown. Status? Megan and Brandon are back, Ryan reported. All teams are ready. The Krell fleet is moving into attack formation, just like we wanted. Jake's voice came over the radio from his fighter. Alpha Squadron is ready. Just give the word. Lisa looked at Queen Zalara, who stood beside Katie at the navigation station. The Queen's hands moved over the controls, inputting data that showed hidden paths through space. Your Majesty, are you sure about this route? Katie asked. Trust me, young pilot. My people have traveled these stars for thousands of years. I will not let you down. Katie nodded. She had to trust the alien Queen. There was no other choice. All ships, execute the plan, Lisa commanded. Now, the USS Resolute suddenly powered up all its weapons and fired at the Krell dreadnought. The shots bounced off the massive ship's shields, doing no real damage. But that wasn't the point. The point was to make the Krell angry. Warlord Kraxus saw the attack from his command throne. The ugly alien warlord smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. The humans are desperate. All ships. Destroy them slowly. I want them to know fear before they die. The Krell fleet began its attack. Energy beams and missiles filled the space around the Resolute. The human ship's shields flared and weakened with each hit. Shields at 30%, Katie called out. Hold course, Lisa ordered. Jake, now, Jake and his fighter squadron launched from the hangar. Instead of running away, they flew straight toward the dreadnought. It was a suicide run. The kind of desperate last stand that the Krell loved to see. It made them feel powerful and superior. "Come on, you ugly monsters," Jake muttered. "Pay attention to us." His fighters weaved through a storm of enemy fire. 2 of his pilots went down, their ships exploding in balls of fire. But the others kept going, getting closer and closer to the dreadnought. They finally reached it and started firing at its weapon arrays. The damage was minor, but it was enough to enrage Craxus. The warlord ordered all nearby ships to focus on the fighters. "That's it," Ryan said, watching the tactical display. "They're bunching up around the dreadnought, just like we hoped. They think they're about to win." Brandon had been working on the Krell communication network. "I'm sending the false signals now. The ships in the back think the forward ships are having equipment failures. They're moving in closer to provide support." The Krell fleet was now tightly grouped together, all focused on destroying the small human force. They had no idea what was coming. "Timer at 30 seconds, Ryan announced. "Jake, get back here," Lisa ordered. "On our way." Jake's remaining fighters broke off their attack and raced back toward the Resolute. Krell ships chased them, eager to finish the kill. 20 seconds. "Katie, are you ready?" Lisa asked. "As ready as I'll ever be," the young pilot replied. Her hands were steady on the controls, but sweat dripped down her face. 10 seconds. "All hands, brace for impact," Lisa called out. The Luminary's reactor reached critical mass. The sphere of energy grew brighter and brighter, expanding beyond its magnetic containment. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The explosion was like a newborn star. The luminary vanished in a blast of pure energy that expanded outward in all directions. The closest Krell ships were simply erased, torn apart by forces they couldn't withstand. The shockwave hit the dreadnought like a hammer. The massive ship's shields collapsed, and its armor cracked. Secondary explosions rippled across its hull. The ship that had seemed invincible moments before was now a dying giant. Warlord Craxus screamed in rage and disbelief as his throne room collapsed around him. He had been so close to victory, and now he was dying. His last thought was of the humans who had defeated him with courage and cleverness. The explosion continued to spread, destroying ship after ship. The Krell fleet, so confident moments before, was now in chaos. Those who could tried to jump away to safety, but many were caught in the blast. "Now, Katie. Get us out of here," Lisa shouted. Katie punched the engines to full power. The Resolute shot forward, diving into the debris field with Jake's fighters close behind. Chunks of metal and energy waves filled the space around them. "Left, hard left," Queen Zalara called out, seeing dangers that the human sensors couldn't detect. Katie trusted her and turned sharply. A massive piece of wreckage passed by where they would have been. "There's a gravity well ahead," the Queen warned. "Angle up 30 degrees and ride the current." Katie did as instructed. The ship shook violently, but they made it through. They plunged into the nebula, a swirling cloud of gas and radiation. It was beautiful and deadly. Visibility dropped to almost nothing. Strange forces pulled at the ship from all directions. "I can't see where we're going," Katie said desperately. "You don't need to see," Queen Zalara said calmly. "Feel the currents. Let the ship flow with the natural paths. Trust your instincts." Katie closed her eyes for a moment, feeling rather than thinking. She let her hands move on the controls, making tiny adjustments. The Queen's guidance, combined with Katie's natural flying talent, created something almost magical. They danced through the nebula like a leaf on the wind. Behind them, the Krell ships that tried to follow weren't as skilled or lucky. Several crashed into obstacles or were torn apart by gravitational forces. After what felt like hours but was only minutes, the Resolute burst out of the nebula into clear space. They had made it. They were alive. "Jump coordinates set for Earth," Katie announced, her voice shaking with relief. "All fighters accounted for," Jake reported. "We lost 2 pilots, but the rest made it." Lisa took a deep breath. "Jump when ready." The ship's engines hummed, building up power. Then, with a flash of light, they were gone, racing toward home at speeds faster than light itself. In the medical bay, Ashley was treating the wounded. Megan had burns on her arms. Brandon had twisted his ankle. Jake had a gash on his forehead. But they were all smiling. Queen Zalara visited each of them personally. "You saved my life," she told them. "More than that, you proved that humanity deserves respect and friendship. The Valthene Empire will never forget this day." 1 week later, Earth's capital was transformed for a ceremony unlike any in history. Human leaders and Valthene dignitaries gathered together. Ships from both worlds filled the sky. Lisa and her team stood at attention while Admiral Morrison read their commendations. Each one received medals of valor, the highest honor Earth could give. But the real honor came from Queen Zalara herself. The queen had recovered from her injuries and stood tall and regal in robes that sparkled like starlight. She approached each team member and spoke to them personally. "To Jake," she said, "your flying skills are legend among my people now. You faced impossible odds and won through sheer determination." To Ryan, she said, "Your tactical mind saved us all. You turned certain defeat into victory with nothing but clever thinking." To Megan, she said, "Your courage in battle inspired everyone. You never hesitated, never gave up." To Ashley, she said, "Your healing hands and kind heart gave me hope. You treated me not as an alien, but as a person who needed help." To Brandon, she said, "Your technical skills were vital to our success. Never doubt your importance to the team." To Katie, she said, "You trusted me when you had no reason to. That trust saved all our lives. You have the soul of a true pilot." Finally, she stood before Lisa. "Commander Hayes, you led this mission with wisdom and strength. You could have abandoned me to save your people, but you refused. That choice defines humanity's character. You don't leave people behind. You don't give up when things get hard. You face danger with courage and meet challenges with cleverness." Queen Zalara raised her voice so everyone could hear. "Let it be known across the galaxy that Earth and the Valthene Empire are now allies, bound by blood spilled together and victories won together. We share technology, trade, and military support. And should darkness threaten either of our people, we will stand together against it." The crowd erupted in cheers. Humans and Valthene celebrated together, the beginning of a friendship that would change the galaxy. Later, as the celebration continued, the team gathered on a balcony overlooking the city. They watched as Valthene ships and human ships flew together in formation, a symbol of unity. "We did it," Jake said quietly. "We actually did it." "We did more than that," Lisa replied. "We showed the galaxy that Earth matters, that humans have something special to offer. Courage, loyalty, compassion, things that no technology can replace." Queen Zalara joined them on the balcony. She looked up at the stars with them, no longer afraid but hopeful. "Thank you," she said simply. "For everything," Lisa smiled. "That's what friends do. They help each other, no matter the distance, no matter the danger." In the sky above, stars twinkled with promise. The universe was vast and full of wonders and dangers. But Earth was ready now, ready to take its place among the stars, ready to face whatever challenges came next. And they would face those challenges not alone, but with allies and friends who had seen the best of humanity and chosen to stand beside them. The rescue mission was over, but the real adventure was just beginning.